How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. Back with a re-review. It's been a while. I've done this beer before, but it's been a while. I want to see how either this beer changed or I changed or whatever. We're doing Jack's Abbey Brewing's Framinghammer Brandy Barrel Aged PB&J. I did this beer, God, right when I started doing beer reviews, actually. Not right when I started, but that first year. Went over, actually did a homebrew day at my buddy Ryan, Lou Brew. Go check him out. He does a bunch of homebrew stuff. Does little beer reviews every now and then. But it's mostly homebrew stuff. Lou Brew, L-E-W Brew. And my buddy Joe from NEPA Beer Reviews, now defunct. He kind of stopped doing that because he's actually working in the industry now and brewing and stuff, so he doesn't have time, nor I don't think he wants to, but he still pops in, and we do one every now and then. Anyway, all three of us kind of hooked up. We did a couple beer reviews that day with Ryan's dog Mojo, and this is one of them, and I loved it. There was this jaminess to it that's absolutely was fantastic. I've had it once or twice since at bottle shares and things like that, but I haven't had it for myself, kind of just to sit and to drink. Kind of a bummer too, because I just went to a Boston trip and I was coming back on a Sunday, and the day after I was coming back they released it, so I was really bummed. I didn't think I'd be able to pick one up, but I was in a bottle shop over the weekend a couple days ago, and it was, lo and behold, it was sitting on the shelf, and I said, give me that shit, baby. Need some of that jaminess in my life. So let's dive into it. As far as what it says on the bottle here, it says Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers, PB&J, Aged in Bourbon Barrels, Framinghammer. Beer aged in bourbon barrels with natural flavors. PB&J time. Up here it says raspberries and peanuts. Kind of suspect on the peanut part of it. I thought you couldn't really use peanuts in beer. I thought the oils kind of fucked with shit, so maybe it's just a peanut powder, a PB2 kind of thing. I don't know. And unfiltered and pasteurized. That'd be that. No ABV that I can see. And I rhymed. But I think I remember this being right around 10%. Could be wrong, but, take that for what it's worth. But label-wise, I actually don't like it. I like their old labels better. Something about this just, I don't know. Not that I love their old labels, don't get me wrong. I wasn't a big fan of them, but I like them better than these, so. It is what it is. If beer's good, who gives a shit, so. Give this a pop. Oh. Give this a pour. Now, the Framinghammer base is by far one of my favorite Baltic porters, if not my favorite Baltic porter running right now. It's a style I think is criminally underdone. I don't think enough people do it. With Jack's Abbey and the way and they're doing their whole lagering thing, I'm not saying they had to do it, but you can do a Baltic porter either lagered or non-lagered. It was almost a natural fit for them to do it. And there's some other people that do it, so I'm always excited when I get to try a really good Baltic porter. But here's the thing. I usually like seeing a couple of them. Usually like the base more than I like the barrel aged version, but there's time and place for everything, so maybe that'll be different this time. So I've been talking long enough. Just over a pinky finger, malted malt ball colored head, neurotic bubbles, creaminess, and she'd be dark. She's not super dark. Browns, rich mahoganies. Definitely looks dark. Let's put it that way. So see if we can get a nose on her. Ooh, man. Peanuts jump out. Like, seriously, peanuts jump out. I usually got a ton of kind of raspberry jaminess off the one that I had a while ago and a couple since then, but this one definitely leans heavily peanut on the nose. Peanuts, syrupy, kind of semi-sweet chocolates. A little bit of kind of cherry bourboniness in there. There's a little bit of almost like subtle little like smokiness. I don't know whether that's a malt thing or from a barrel thing. And that's pretty much it. Definitely lean sweet. Not really getting much hop presence in there. Not getting much bittering from the roasted malts. Maybe a little bit of smoky char and definite peanuts. Not really much raspberry to speak of in there though. Maybe it's just being pushed down by a lot of that stuff. So we'll see what happens. Let's just dive in, see what she's got. Cheers. It's nice. Not what I remember, though. Definitely not. Really. Those raspberries are there, but they're just kind of floating on the edges. Really just not getting the raspberry. I mean, it's there. It's definitely there, but it's not as impactful as I remember. The base beer is coming through really nice, though. Getting a nice kind of roasted chocolatey malt to it. The peanut butter is way more reserved than I thought it would be based off the nose, and I think that's a good thing. With the jamminess not coming through that big, with the bourbon being there but not being gigantic, I'm kind of happy that the peanut butter is, well, and there, and definitely not missable. It's not nearly as big as you'd think it'd be based off of the nose. Yeah, really nice beer. Preconceived notion on my end. I believe if I never had this before, I drank this, I would really enjoy it and be like, I wish there was more raspberry. But I'm coming from at the other end of the spectrum, which is I remember there being this crazy awesome jamminess to it, and it's just not there. And that's what I was kind of looking for. Kind of bummed by that a little bit. But it's still really good beer. That's the point I'm trying to make. The bourbon is a little bit bigger than the beer itself, but it's a bourbon barrel-aged beer. Sometimes you kind of want that. The beer is well represented. It's actually there. It doesn't just taste like a bourbon bomb. The peanut butter is there, and it works. It's not nearly as big as you think it'd be based off of the nose, but it's still there and impactful. It's just that raspberry. I just wanted that raspberry in my life. I'm just not getting it. Or enough of it, I should say. And the mouth feels really nice. It's definitely up there. A lot of times when you're starting throwing in, you know, your peanut butters and your raspberries and your barrels and stuff like that, the mouthfeel can be a little bit hard to kind of keep up, prop up there. Can thin out from times, and this one did not. It's right where it should be for not just Baltic porters, but the Baltic porters that they typically produce. It's damn tasty beer, though, I'll tell you that much. So yeah, let's talk about it. Is it one of the better barrel-aged Baltic porters I've had as of late? With default, yes, in that category, because I can't remember the last barrel-aged Baltic porter I had. Is it one of the better barrel-aged dark beers I've had as of late? On the outside looking in, but pretty tasty. Maybe I'm scoring a little bit rough because I wanted a little bit more PB&J in her, or B, peanut butter and J. I wanted more J. Who doesn't want more J? There's jokes in there. I can't think of them right now. Anyway, it's nice. I like it. Enjoy it. Tasty as shit. Love it. Would never turn it away. It's just I've had some ones that are like kind of do better for me. Let's put it that way. So, let's see what else. Value and availability. I paid $13 for this. So $13 for what, 500 milliliter? You know, is that like, I'm not sure what they're selling at the brewery for. But, you know, $13 for a 500 milliliter of a barrel-aged beer is not that shabby in my book, so it is what it is. Availability, I found it sitting on a shelf. That doesn't suck, but it didn't find it in my area. I had to go to New York to get it. Take that for what it's worth. So your mileage may vary. Just say if you like what will you like this. If you like Framinghammer, and you like bourbon, and you like peanuts, and just a touch of raspberry, then you like this, because it's a well-made beer. It's tasty as fuck. I'm enjoying the shit out of it. And the peanuts shine. The balance is nice, even though it's a little bit, some are a little bit higher than others as far as balance. It's not super askew. I just wish of all wishes that raspberry played as much as I remember it playing, because that's really what kind of did this beer for me in the past, and it's just not there. But at the same time, it's fucking delicious. So it's more me missing the raspberry than this not being a fantastic beer. So there you go. Another review on the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. If you didn't, anywhere in between, down there. And like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on tap. Massive Beers on all four of those places in here. Another review down. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice PB&J Bourbon Barrel Aged beer right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.